United we brunch.
I was in New York for 6 months, and then I said, Mom, I'm gonna come home because this is crazy. I was 23, very arrogant, and I really had all of these views of what things should be. I wasn't really at the point where I realized you kind of have to create your own path. I was like, why isn't this happening for me the way I picture it in my head? And I'm going on these interviews, nobody's hiring me. I'm temping, like what is going on? I'm going home, forget this. So I went home with my tail between my legs, and I had a lot of people who were rooting for me to fail back home. So, I had a lot of people who were like, yeah, we knew you'd be back, or, they made their comments, and I, had to take it because at the time I did return home. And so I told myself I was gonna work for a year at a regular job. I was gonna leave the television industry. I was gonna work for a year at a regular job, and then I was gonna go to LA. So at this point, it's late 2003, I find a job at Verizon Wireless. And I say, I'm just gonna do this for a year. Fast forward, it's been 4. So now it's 4 years, I have an apartment, I got a new car. Now I have to work here. Now I have to work here because how am I gonna pay my bills? For every year that went by, I became more depressed. So I didn't even recognize myself anymore. I was getting up and going to work and putting all my all in a job that I hated. I was working with people I did not care for. I was working for people I didn't care for. I hated life. I gained like 60 pounds, and I was just miserable. I would literally wake up every day and cry. I'd be ironing my dress and I'd be like, oh my God, I don't want to go. Why God? I would find any reason to take a long bathroom break. In this place you had to log in every time you walked away from your desk. Wow. So imagine how emasculating that is. On top of hating your job, you have to check in on this little dial to go to the bathroom. So I just felt in every way I had handcuffs on me. And I had a conversation with my mom, and she said, she found me crying in the living room, and she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I just don't want to go to this job. I hate this job. She's like, so quit. And I was like, well, what do you mean? She's like, you're not married. You don't have no kids. Quit. What's the problem? And I was like, well, then what am I going to do? She's like, then you'll figure it out. What are you talking about? What do you want to do? I was like, well, I want to work in entertainment. And she's like, so do it. Like, what are you doing, Nina? You're 27. You're back at home. What do you want to do? What is your soul telling you to do? And I was like, I don't know, go to LA, I guess. And she's like, so let's go. You can't fight it. Cupid shotgun. I packed everything up in 2 weeks and was like, all right, well, I think I had, a little bit of money for like 2 months rent. So it was like, you better figure it out. And so I started hustling. I found this temp agency that staffed only on lots. So I was like, well, my idea is if I can at least get on the lot, then at least I'm in front of the people that I need to see, regardless if I'm taking out the trash or not. So I took a huge pay cut. I was probably making like $8 an hour. So I went from being completely independent to pretty much living off of my savings, living with this crazy woman, and just figuring it out and working on all of these lots. I felt like I'm in my late 20s now. This is like my last chance. I gotta figure out. I was out of the game for 4 years. I don't know anybody in LA. I knew 2 people who I went to school with who weren't even returning my calls when I was in LA. I was legit alone. I did not have a friend in LA. And the 2 people I thought were gonna be there for me, they wouldn't even answer the phone to invite me to a party to get my mind off of the hustle. So I was like, back then this was when MySpace was big. I would see them on MySpace, like posting pictures at a house party. And I'm like, no, these bitches, no, I don't have no friends. Went in and they said, well, look, we can't offer you a producer position. You're just not, you don't have the requirements for that. But we have a runner position available for you. Which, if you don't know what a runner is below a PA. A runner is literally, you do that. You run. You get lunches, you get groceries, you get food, if there were tapes you needed to pass off, run the tape to them. If our camera guy had a tape that needed to get back in-house, I'm running to get this tape. Very humbling experience to do. You're about to turn 30 and you're like making 0 money and you're living in a room with no door. So you're very like, I'm gonna make this work. I said, Jillian, I'm really sorry that it didn't work out. If there's anything you guys need, please let me know. I'll always be available. I'll drop anything. I really am sorry that I was so late. And she goes, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, Diana said I was fired. And she was like, girl, no. She was like, sit down. So I sat down. She went into Harvey's office and she was like, we not firing her. No, I like her. She's smart. No. And he was like, well, you take her then. I don't want her running. So she said, you'll be my writing PA. And we're offering you a 1-year contract. And I said, okay. Okay, Jillian, whatever you want. So that's really how it started. So under Jillian, I was promoted to producer within 4 months. And then that September, the show started. So at the time, I was only going to be a producer for the web. So I was writing stories, being a reporter, getting stories. I was on it. Like, I pretty much lived there. If people didn't want to work holidays, I volunteered. People didn't want to work weekends, I volunteered. I slept in my car, no joke, in a 7-Eleven parking lot in Burbank because I didn't want to be too far. Because it's news and it's breaking news and everything works 24/7, I just didn't want to be too far away from the place. Now I started pitching for the show. And I would wear hats, no makeup, and just say what I felt. I didn't know what to do because the last time I had been prepped for television was college, and that was very stoic and it was for local news, so I didn't really know what he wanted. And he was like, well, just be yourself. And I'm like, he would see me putting on makeup at my desk and he's like, stop. And I'd be like, well, all these girls are like size 2 and hair is beautiful. And he's like, that's bullshit. He's like, this is real Hollywood. We're talking about people coming out of the clubs drunk. We're talking about their DUIs. We're talking about their lawsuits. We don't give a shit what dress you have on. We don't care if you're wearing MAC. He's like, I want to know what you think about the story. What you say is important. Who you represent is important. Now, mind you, this is like a little Jewish man, you know? And he's like, you are empowered. You represent a lot of people. You are the only African-American woman here. I don't care what lipstick you have on. And if you wear makeup from now on, you're out of here. I was like, I can't wear, sometimes I want to feel like a girl. He's like, well, I feel like a girl on the weekend. So we would have these fights. And as much as I would get angry at him, he pushed me. He pushed me to be the best person and to really care about what counts. Here again, I'm in a situation where I feel like I'm starting over, and she said, well, I think they have a position. I went in and they said, well, we have an online position. You can be like online talent for our website. We'll build you a page, but there's nothing on TV. So if that's what you want, this isn't for you. And I said, okay, well, I'll take it, because in my mind I was like, whatever. This is the CBS lot. The talk is here. CBS News is watching. Somebody gonna see me. Like, I was like, okay. Because in my mind, I'm like, I'll take whatever you can tell me whatever. Because the guy that was telling me this, I was like, boy, bye. Like, I'm gonna be on the show. You can tell me whatever you want to tell me. He's like, it's impossible. I was like, okay, boop boop. Second week I was on the show. I talked to the executive. I was like, boy, ain't nobody listening to you. I don't know who's taking these no's, but it's not me. Just pitch stories. And he's like, you know a lot about this story. I'm like, I have a contact there. He's like, well, you should just say it on air. So I would say it on air, and I would just make sure I'm like, I got 3 seconds to say what I'm supposed to say. I'm about to kill this. And 3 seconds led to 5 seconds led to, okay, well, now Nina's now our voice for social media. Okay, well, we're gonna send Nina to the location. Oh, well, Nina, you wanna work the Oscars? To a contract for television correspondent. And it was just like, you don't always get the position you want. Sometimes it's not available. Sometimes you just have to show people why it's for you.
This brunch literally has changed the way I look at my career, period. Nina did such a great job articulating her journey and actually just being herself. I've learned that I'm not the only one going through what I'm going through. There's other people who came before me that went through exactly what I'm going through right now, and it's just empowering to see someone who was like, you know what? I went through this, I had my little pity party, but I got back up and I'm where I'm supposed to be, and I'm gonna keep moving, just like a train, just keep pushing. So I think that brunches like this are essential for businesswomen who are young, old, middle-aged, whatever age, because it just helps us to grow a network and to be more positive about ourselves.
It's been an amazing experience. When I saw that Nina was here hosting, she's an inspiration of mine, and I've been following her story for a really long time. and I'm just so honored to be able to be here. It's really important to me to kind of give back in the community and for women of all races, all ages to come together and really build together and support each other on this platform in Hollywood. So this is why I'm here, and I plan to attend every single United We Function event going forward.
My favorite part about it, she had a story that was very relatable. It had a lot of layers to it, and it makes you feel like your journey is not in vain. And so I think that's my favorite part about it, just learning that it is a journey. It does take time, but events like this, being able to collab or to discuss or meet and interact with other black beautiful women, not even just black, but women who are doing it, who are working hard. Favorite part.
Hey guys, I'm Nina Parker. You know, today I was afraid I was gonna come and be like two people here, and they weren't even supposed to really be here, so I wasn't sure if people would come, because you know, you never know who connects with you. But we were so happy to have a full house, and not just a full house, but of these amazing women who are really doing their thing in their own lanes, and everybody just kind of came together and shared their stories. I had such a good time. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. You know, I trusted Waverly, and she has definitely earned my trust. This was an amazing brunch with so many positive women.
Bang, bang, bang.